What is up, guys? It's your boy TC back with another video. So we're going to be talking about Aaron Ramsey yet again, as you can see from the title of the video. It's quite an interesting situation that actually developed, if not, I think it was last night, if not early hours of today. But the images have recently surfaced off a tweet, and these were tweets that were exchanged between Aaron Ramsey's agency and a fan, an Arsenal fan, of course, but it didn't look really good for Aaron Ramsey's agent, really, in terms of how this situation obviously panned out. The tweets were since deleted, but it's a terrible, terrible situation. I'd like to think it's not professional from them whatsoever. I've never known an agency to be really, really vocal as such as they are, especially on social media. You do hear about Paul Pogba's agent's comments within the media itself, but you never see anything quite physical, really. So there was this exchange of tweets, as mentioned, and it's been a terrible, terrible situation. So we're going to talk about this exchange of tweets. There's obviously a few notes that I have certainly made in regards to this particular topic, and we're going to run through those bullet points if you like. So let me just bring up the comments. Really, that's what I'm looking for at the moment. Give me a moment, please, and I will certainly be reading up these tweets to you. As confirmed as well that these tweets have been deleted since, and they're no longer available within the public domain. But as we know, social media acts really, really quickly. These tweets were certainly screenshotted, and they are now available in most sporting publications across the world. So let's look at what these tweets said. So initially, the situation stemmed from a tweet that was sent out by Aaron Ramsey's agent in regards to him forming a partnership with a private jet company. So of course, one of the Arsenal fans online did not take to this kindly. He's obviously reacted to this particular bit of information that's been publicized by the agent, and he basically mentions the fact that, don't you think this is a terrible time for you to be peddling this kind of publicity on social media? The agent basically replies, why? Basically, he's asking why. So give me a second, I'm struggling to get the comments up. Right, so basically the fan called Charlie, AFC Charlie, he's put on the he's replied to the initial tweet that's advertising the private jet endorsement Aaron Ramsey's recently signed, or sponsorship deal, if you want to call it that. He's put probably a bit muggy to announce this at the moment, don't you think? Probably be best just to get on the plane and jog on for good, I reckon. So the agent's obviously bitten back, and he's replied, why? He's basically just asked why. You've got thousands of fans wanting to hear something on Ramsey. Whatever happens behind the scenes shouldn't be discussed, as people don't know. Fair enough, but announcing something like that now is only going to annoy people. Do you not think so? Honestly, there's nothing we can do, Charlie. The club made a decision. Life goes on. So this is from the agent. So basically, in regards to that particular last tweet I've just read from the agency itself, which is Avid Sports and Entertainment Group, they've basically confirmed that the club have actually retracted the offer, or the club have refused to give Aaron Ramsey an offer. Is this true? We obviously don't know. We are not behind the scenes. I'm personally not behind the scenes, so I can't certainly confirm if this is going to be true or not. And the fan goes on to say, wish Aaron all the best in the future if he does decide to go, giving us some good memories. But Alexis has shown the grass ain't always greener. So of course, the grass certainly isn't greener. Alexis Sanchez has his woes at the moment. We've spoken about that. We're not going to repeat ourselves. But basically, the agent really bit into this, and it's absolutely terrible way of actually conducting yourself in a situation like this. In my personal opinion, he shouldn't have bit to the fans' bait, if you like. So let's ask ourselves, really, do we try to push for a move abroad for Aaron Ramsey? It seems as if it's being confirmed now that he will be leaving. So do we push for a move abroad? I'm personally sick and tired of Arsenal selling players to our main rivals within the Premier League. Reports are certainly suggesting that Liverpool and Real Madrid are definitely keen on getting the player in. Jurgen Klopp apparently tried to sign Aaron Ramsey in the last transfer window, or last summer, my apologies, and that obviously didn't materialise. And basically they seem as if they're in again for another Arsenal player. Of course, we know in recent years, or recently really, they've signed Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain from us, but that was for a significant fee, which I personally was happy about. It's a £40 million fee. I was happy for him to go over there for that much. But do we continue to sell to get him out of the league? And if Real Madrid are keen on getting the player in, then we should certainly, as a club, Arsenal should then try to actually push for a move to Spain for him. And a move to Spain does make sense to some certain degree. And the reason that is, if anything, a move to Spain holds more weight than a move to Liverpool. At Liverpool, is he going to get some game time? There's a lot of players there that can play in this position. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain being one who's been deployed centrally at Liverpool. So I don't know if he will certainly opt to go to Liverpool. Real Madrid may potentially also offer much higher wages in comparison to Liverpool, but we'll definitely have to wait and see. But I personally would suggest that we definitely push for a move abroad, get him out of the league. We won't have to compete with him directly or strengthen a team that we will certainly be trying to compete with. If we were to sell him in January, how much do we get for a player like Aaron Ramsey? With obviously 6 months to run on his contract. Of course, let's bear in mind in January, he will definitely be allowed to sign a deal. So it would be basically a gentleman's handshake with another club, which will then allow him to sign for that club in the summer. So if we were to get some money for him in January, how much will we get for him? I believe something in the region of about 25 to 30 million pounds, nothing more than that. Based on the current market values, I won't expect anything more than that £30 million mark, and it will certainly be a huge loss in terms of finances for the club. We would have been able to actually command roughly about £50 million for him, in my personal opinion. If he had a good, decent, chunky contract, we'd have got at least 50-55 million pounds for him. And will he be missed in the Arsenal team if he does leave? And will we be able to replace him with the existing players? Of course, replacing him with a new player is a completely different topic, which we will certainly be discussing in the near future. But with the current crop in the team, is there someone who can step up and take his place? Of course, so far this season, Ramsey hasn't been that instrumental. We do have to remember that he scored those FA Cup goals, but we can't keep going back in the past. But he obviously played an important part in the club's recent history by scoring those goals in the FA Cup finals. But is there anyone in the existing team that will be able to replace him? I don't think someone like Smith Rowe is ready. Maybe Iwobi can step in, obviously playing out wider, because Ramsey has been deployed centrally. All the managers in recent times have tended to actually deploy him centrally. If I say recent times, it's only Arsene Wenger and Unai Emery. But I don't see anyone else apart from Iwobi who will be able to replace him in the existing squad. So, as mentioned, Liverpool are heavily linked with him. So let's talk about his injuries briefly. So we know Aaron Ramsey, or the Arsenal team in general, do tend to suffer from injuries, in particular long-term injuries. So I've pulled up a couple of stats here. He's been through 20 injuries. Let's bear in mind this is from the 1st of January 2013. So these are the stats I was able to obtain. From the 1st of January 2013, he suffered 20 injuries. From those 20 injuries, they've led to 422 days out. That's a significant amount of time, ladies and gentlemen, and that's over a whole year. And on top of that, we can also add that 248 days that he was out when he broke his leg. So of course we do understand, I personally understand, that when he broke his leg, that wasn't his fault. He suffered a terrible challenge when we were playing out in Stoke, and he was out for 248 days, and that's a huge chunk. We put those two together, that's about 250, so we're looking at about 670 days in total that he's been out overall, and that's a long time, and that is only since the 1st of January 2013 and that huge terrible leg break that he did suffer. So it seems as if he will be heading for the door. He won't be missed as far as I'm aware. I liked Ramsey. I was a fan of Ramsey personally, but we can't certainly cling on to players that don't want to obviously commit to the club, in my personal opinion. But we'll obviously have to keep an eye on this one. This is definitely football. It can certainly change any time between now and then. But let me just go through your comments briefly. Let's have a look here. Give me a second. I'm just pulling up your comments, and I will be replying to them now. Let's take a look. So Mohammed, hi Mohammed, Ramsey can go, his heart is not in the club anymore. I completely agree, said Ducky. I'm sure an offer would have been put on the table previously, and they've obviously turned that offer down. Alexis is shy. Fair enough. Yeah, we know Alexis has fallen from grace. I completely agree. He can't keep the ball. He was terrible against Valencia last night, but hey, that's another story. Alex Iwobi should always start. Alex Iwobi's had a brilliant start to the season. I completely agree, Nilotic. Why would Liverpool want to sign him if they've got plenty of midfielders? And that's the same question that I raised within the stream. Liverpool may be shooting themselves in the foot. I don't know, but they've got plenty of players in the midfield. He's certainly not a young player that you can then turn around and say he can actually offer something in the future. But let's have a look. Another message from Sir Ducky. Clash Wars, to be honest, we won't miss him. We have better and give the team more balance. Torreira, more games. Completely agree. Torreira needs to play slightly a bit more. He won't be missed, of course. We can certainly find a replacement. But I do agree in the fact that Iwobi can come into the team and actually provide cover in that missing hole. We've got other players that can play in that position. We're going to be making a video soon as well in regards to Danny Welbeck. So we will talk about that. He's another player who has got no time left in his contract. Ramsey replacement in the team. Mkhitaryan, of course, yeah, Mickey can come in and do a job, of course, but he seems to be being used as a cut player. Of course, we do know that he was injured recently, so we'll definitely see how his season progresses. We have loads of attacking midfielders. Again, Clash Wars, I completely agree. We have plenty attacking midfielders in the team. But as usual, guys, please do let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, please do make sure that you do hit that subscribe button. So once again, guys, it's your boy TC from I'm Gonna Talk TV. And I'm out.